Got a call from the doctor, and she was basically like, "Hey, is this Travis Feezer?" I was like, "Yeah, this is him." She said, "Where are you right now?" And I just said, "I just got home. I'm sitting in my car in my driveway, just pulled out." "Okay, great. You need to go inside and get on some comfy clothes, and you need to go straight to the emergency room. I've already called them. I let them know that you're on the way. It's not something that can wait an hour, 2 hours. It definitely can't wait until tomorrow. You need to head over there right now. And basically, your life's going to be changed forever." When I was a kid, I was playing Pop Warner football. I noticed that there was some like blood in my urine, and didn't think anything of it. Just thought that like full contact playing football, it was just from like kind of getting tackled or whatever. So we go to Children's Hospital and they do some blood tests, and determined that they needed to do a biopsy on my kidneys because they thought it was a kidney disease. What came of the results of the biopsy was being diagnosed with a kidney disease called IgA nephropathy. And in short, it basically leads to kidney failure. So fast forward like 15 years, and this was a little bit over 4 years ago, I started kind of feeling a lot of just kind of random symptoms like being super lethargic, being super nauseous and vomiting very often.
I definitely had a feeling like something was going on because I remember like putting my head on his chest and his heart rate was out of control like all of the time, no matter what you were doing, just even laying there. I remember one night you were having a hard time breathing and there was like fluid in your lungs. I forced you to get a doctor's appointment. So you went in for blood tests with Dolly Doctor.
Yeah, Doctor was her name. And I show up and the first thing they'll do is they'll take your vitals, and my blood pressure was like erroring out the blood pressure machine, and eventually we got a reading, and then my blood pressure was it was 220 over like 130, which is extremely high. It's basically at a risk for a heart attack or stroke at any point. I need you to basically start fasting right now and come back first thing tomorrow morning and take some labs, and then from there I'll send them off and be able to tell you what's going on. Show up the next day at 7 a.m., take some blood work, and later that day go out to dinner with your grandparents for their anniversary in Escondido. As soon as I pull into the driveway of the condo that we were living in, I get a phone call. She goes, "Hey, is this Travis Feezer?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Hey, it's Dr. Dolly Doctor. Where are you right now?" And I said, "I just got home from a dinner. I just pulled into the driveway." And she said, "Okay, so I got your labs back and my creatinine was at like a 13. I forget exactly what the number is that it's supposed to be at, but it's like 0.6 or a 0.7, which basically means my blood was like pure toxins. So she had explained that I was experiencing kidney failure, and I remember her saying, "You need to go to the emergency room right now."
what's gonna happen next? Like, is he gonna die? Or like, I'm like Googling like, how long can you live on dialysis? Like Googling, trying to figure out everything that you can figure out to know like what happens next. You say goodbye to me every morning at 4 a.m. and you spend 4 hours literally hooked up to a machine just so you can live. Like if you didn't do that, you would die. But it was like almost like surreal. It was like, okay, I guess we're doing this now. I guess this is our life now.
Definitely the hardest part about being on dialysis is a daily reminder of what you have is not curable. And someday you'll end up back on dialysis, and someday you'll be as old as these people and your body will have to deal with the dialysis the way that these people's bodies are dealing with it. That's probably one of the hardest parts about being on dialysis, is seeing that and knowing it's going to be you someday. But it basically extracts your blood through one hose, runs it through a machine, which is like an artificial kidney, filters the blood to remove the toxins, and then puts the blood back into your body.
And that's where they poke you.
Yeah, so they'll poke me with 2 needles. They'll have one here, which pulls the blood out, runs it through the machine, and then puts it back in the same vein. Mine is kind of freakishly large. It's larger than they normally are. They're usually supposed to be like the size of like a Sharpie marker is the best way to put it. I also had a time where it ruptured, and that was that.
Traumatic.
Yeah.
There's times when he's in a hospital bed or feeling like just absolute garbage, and you just remember like, oh, he has a stage 4 kidney failure. And yeah, I don't know, it's just really hard to see him. So much pain.
The way to get off dialysis is through receiving a kidney transplant. That happens in a couple ways. The day you start dialysis, you get added to a wait list. That wait list is literally one person has, it's like 8 to 11 years long in California. 67 or 68,000 people on the wait list. And they only do around 11 waitlist transplants a year. Or you can receive a direct donation from somebody who's a match.
Who's alive.
Who's alive.
I wanted to be a donor for Travis like since he got diagnosed back in 2019, but we were only dating for like a year and a few months at that point, and he didn't want me to do it. I
didn't really want anyone I knew to donate. I felt like I was dealt a bad hand of cards, and it would be not right for me to make something that, you know, was a burden that was out of my control somebody else's potential burden.
Well, I talked to Travis about it like a year and a half ago now, at the beginning of 2021. And I said, I want to go through the application process to be a living kidney donor for you, but I'm only gonna do it if you're okay with it. And you're like pretty apprehensive about it in the beginning, I think for the same reasons. And he finally said he was okay, but he didn't want to hear anything about it. They do a ton of tests. They make sure you're psychologically, physically healthy. And it ended up being that I was. We didn't know at that point if it was going to be a direct donation or if it was going to be a paired exchange donation. Yep. And it ended up being that we're like an exact match for blood type and antibodies, which is perfect because he gets my kidney directly.
Yeah. I think out of everyone I've ever met in my entire life, if I wanted anyone's kidney that I knew, it would be Kayleen's. I mean, apart from like the extremely active lifestyle and the incredibly clean diet, it's really special to me that that I can receive that kind of a gift from somebody that I love. So.
No.
I am most looking forward to just being able to sleep in Monday, Wednesday, Friday with Kayleen and the dogs. Not being restricted to go on trips. Like, I've never been on a cruise. I want to go on a cruise, right? Like I want to go on a 5-day cruise ship somewhere.
Go international.
Go international. I can't do that. I'm excited to be able to do that.
This feels like we can start like the next part of our lives, like after the transplant, and once we're both like recovered, we can have a wedding, we can have a baby, like we can do all of the things that we've been wanting to do and like that we are excited about for our future.
I hope this story kind of brings some awareness around it. You know, if you're feeling something that feels off, you owe it to yourself to get checked out and make sure that a doctor is telling you that you're fine.
1 in 7 people are affected by chronic kidney failure, and 37 million Americans have kidney disease. And so if you've ever considered donating your kidney or want to learn more about it, I'd love to talk to anyone that's considering it or interested in it and tell you my experience.
See you on the other side.
With 1 less kidney, and you'll have 3.
I will have 3. Maybe I'll get like superpowers or something.